Hi, I'm Sandy with Lightning Tools, and I'm here again with Brett. It's been a little while.
It has. It's been one crazy busy month, to say the least. And you've been out about traveling.
Yeah. I spent a week over there in the office, which was really, really great. Every now and then, that's good to be able to have some time in the Lightning Tools office. And then I was speaking at the Thrive IT conference in Slovenia last week, and that was an awesome conference. I think my sessions went pretty well. They were on Power BI, and but the way the conference is run, it's a pretty small one, but the attendees were all really engaged and interested in what we were all talking about, and beautiful venue, beautiful country, great organizers. Yeah, can't say enough about that.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I think, just to start off with your first point, it's amazing. I was just coming into the office today and parked at the very top of the driveway, waiting for the gate to open. And it's quite a few people have asked me, quite a lot of people actually have asked me why we still have an office actually post-pandemic, which I think is a fairly good question to ask,
Mhm.
because a lot of people are working from home and so on. But I can't begin to express how much I love this place. And this was the first thought I had when I approached the gate this morning. You have about 5 seconds for the gate to fully open, and then you have a 20-second drive down the driveway, and it's just a beautiful location. It's really stunning. We're on a farm in the Leicestershire countryside, or Northamptonshire countryside rather, very close to the Leicestershire countryside. And yeah, it's just a really stunning location, and it's a
Very,
great
very
place to come and work.
calming, I feel like. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's a nice calm place to go to work rather than trying to go into a city or town or something.
yeah, absolutely right.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean that's why we're still here. So and Slovenia, yeah, I can't agree with you more. As you know, I absolutely love that country. The first time I went there, I was just absolutely blown away. And every time we go to Thrive, it's always in a different location. I think there's been an overlap once or twice, but yeah, typically it's in a different location. Like we started off in the coast, and Slovenia's only got a very, very small piece of coastline. You can
Mhm.
actually walk between three countries, Croatia, Slovenia, and Italy in about 30 minutes, I think.
I didn't
So it's
realize it was that small.
yeah, it's pretty small. Maybe I'm exaggerating. I can't remember going by memory, but yeah, it wouldn't take you long anyway. And yeah, they've moved that around to some stunning places. I think the following year was in the autumn in Bled, and just
Mm.
I arrived at night, and then the next day went for a walk, and I hadn't Googled Bled or anything before I went there, and I was just presented with this stunning scenery of this island with a little church on there in the middle of a lake, and it is just absolutely beautiful. And yeah, every single time there's been a Thrive conference, it's been somewhere absolutely stunning.
Mm.
And
It can't help but be. I think that's all they have.
they
Stunning.
just have a stunning country everywhere. Yeah, even Ljubljana, the city, the main city in Slovenia is stunning. It's overlooked by this castle,
Mm.
um, which is yeah, just beautiful to look at. Yeah,
Hmm.
really, really nice. And
Yep.
every time I go, I think there's always been a surprise. Even if we do
Mm.
revisit the same place,
Mm.
we'll go to somewhere different. And
Mm.
Branka, as you mentioned, she cares so much for the attendees that visit that event, which are all her customers. And this is a big thank you from her to them for the support that they provide her. And but how she cares for all the speakers as well. Yeah, it's just
Mm.
there's nothing short but love and help from her. It's just
Right.
great.
Yep.
So
Yeah. I
yeah,
would say it's unmatched in any other conference that I've been to.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And if you haven't been to Thrive, I highly recommend
Yes.
it.
Yep.
It's absolutely a fantastic event
Hmm.
to go to. So
Yep. And you don't have to be a customer of Compass
no,
to
you
go.
do not. No, anybody can go to it and just be
Yes.
part of
Yes.
that family. They're just
Yeah. Yeah.
just
And
great,
then
loving people.
spend some time tour visiting Slovenia. Yeah.
Hmm.
It would be a great
Yeah.
way to make a vacation.
Yeah. In fact, we've even done that. We've gone back for a
Mhm.
vacation. Now, it's one of those places where I think even twice. So yeah, I've been there every year apart from this year, unfortunately, or well, since COVID.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I've been there every year. since I think around 2013 or something like that,
Mm.
and it's always been a wonderful event to go to. Um, and it's one of those places that you immediately just want to bring your family and show it off.
Mm.
So yeah, we went back there a couple of times and
Mm. Cool.
toured all around. So yeah, it's great.
Nice.
So now you're back, we can
Hmm.
talk about forms.
Yep.
So, or the form suite, I should say,
Right.
or form designer suite. So yeah, we have three products that form the form designer suite, and one of those is Lightning Forms. We also have Lightning List Actions, and there's the document generator as well, which you can't use on its own. It's part of Lightning Forms or Lightning List Actions. So that's what we call a premium action.
Mm.
So yeah, the very beginning of this month, we mentioned the fact that there was going to be a new form designer suite. So that's each of those products has actually been updated. So Sandy, did you want to talk about some of the changes that you love in Lightning Forms?
Yeah, sure. So, and the beginning of this month, meaning May.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any time zones still in May? No, no,
No,
there's
probably
not.
not. But yeah, so I would say one of the main new features for Lightning Forms that has been a big request from people is a new send email action. So in Lightning Forms and in Lightning List Actions, there's an action builder where you can create a little like a sequence, a workflow type sequence of events or of actions. And by just kind of dragging over the actions into a design canvas, so really easy to use. And there always has been a send email action, which allowed you to create an email and send it to people within your same organization. But we had a lot of customers who were requesting that they be able to send emails to people outside their organization. And also another drawback to that had been that you could only send text, or you could add HTML tags, but you had to put them in yourself. But now that our new send email action lets you email people external to your organization and also includes a rich text editor as the body so that you can really put whatever you want in there. And as before, you can use the placeholders, so dynamic placeholders from your form that has just been filled out, for example, as part of that body, and have dynamic send to and send from. All of the parts of the send email can be dynamic also, which is very key. You can also now preview the email before you send it. So if you want to actually change something, some little thing manually in it, you can do that. And I think there's also an option to have that show up in your outbox or
Sent items,
your
yeah.
sent items. So all of that. So there's still a sort of V1 send internal email for backward compatibility, but you'll definitely want to use the new send email action whenever you want to send an email now.
Yeah, it's great improvement, absolutely. And I
Mm,
think a lot of it came about with the introduction of the document generator as well. That
mm,
sparked a lot of questions. Sometimes it's
mm.
funny, you introduce a new feature and then everybody's like spotting all the other things that you could now do to add on to
Mm,
that. So of course once you generated a document using the document generator, of course the next thing is you want to send that as some form of email attachment.
mhm,
So now you can accomplish that, and we did that in the webinar just last week as well,
mm,
which you can go to watch. You can see that on lightningtools.com. Click onto webinars, and you'll see that as our most recent webinar. And it's a purchase order system. So you create a purchase order using the purchase order form, and of course that purchase order, you're not going to invite every single one of your vendors to come in
right.
and view your
Of course.
SharePoint list to see their
Right.
their list item. So that'd be a lot of sharing going on, and yeah, a lot of people probably wouldn't do that anyway. So what they want is a physical document as a
Mhm,
purchase order, and so that's exactly what you can do with the document generators. You can generate that document, store it in a document library, which can all be automated, and you can specify what that file name is going to be based
mm,
on, again, the placeholders from the form itself. So it could be the title of the item plus the ID or something like
mm,
that. And once that's generated the document, your send email action can get it because it knows the file name and it knows the location, and
Mhm.
that can be an attachment that gets sent out to your customer.
Mhm.
So yeah, you can just have a single button that just sends it out.
Mm.
Oh, sorry, sends it out to your supplier rather.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, really great little feature
Yeah.
to have that.
Yeah. Just from a technical point, just wanted to mention that if you do want to use that external email sending, then there's a Graph API permission that you need to uh,
Yeah,
approve.
which I think is send email, right?
Yeah, I think
Something
so.
to that
Yeah.
effect. Great, excellent. And so yeah, there's a few things. There's another new action as well, which was the copy document.
Mm.
So yeah, we had a move document before, but not a copy document. And the copy document also allows for a dynamic path to be set as
Yeah,
well.
which is nice.
And I think you mentioned that you had a good use case for that, or did you
Uh,
not?
I don't remember. Sorry.
No problem. Okay, so I'll mention one of mine then. So yeah, one of the reasons why I thought this would be, a really valuable ad is, once, I mean, if we take the purchase order example
Mm.
again, once you've generated that purchase order, sometimes you want things to become a sort of like record or something. And of
Mm.
course,
Mhm.
there's record management type things that you can use inside of SharePoint, and you can also use Flow and things like that. But if you wanted it to be performed as part of an action button with inside of the form itself, then that's something that you could also
Mm.
do.
Mhm.
So yeah, you can set the dynamic path for that again based on parameters coming from the form.
Right.
And have that document move. So maybe the purchase order has gone from something that any employee can request to purchase, but once it's approved, it goes and creates a record of that
Mm.
a document as an attachment inside the accounts department or something along
Mm.
those lines.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a great feature. But,
Agreed.
cool. The document generator was refined a bit as well.
Mhm.
So one of the challenges was you almost had like a black bucket for your
Mm. Mm.
uh, document templates. So you'd
Mhm.
create a document template in Word, you'd put your placeholders on as you mentioned, and you'd upload that as a template, and it would go somewhere. And whilst you did still have an edit template link,
Mhm.
it just wasn't clear where your document had ended up.
Right.
So yeah, now you can actually browse that library and
Mm.
use version management and all that
Mhm.
sort of thing
Mhm.
on there to get to your template. So that's a
Yeah, that's
great
great.
improvement.
Great.
The other improvement is also you can specify your own library. So
Mhm.
if you didn't want to use the default library, yeah, you could build up a template library if you like,
Mhm. Mhm.
and make that available
Mhm.
as
Mhm.
part of your forms.
Yeah, I've even seen an example where then maybe that template library can be shown in a form where you can just choose the template that you want, sort of on the fly that you want to use for to send your document. Mhm.
I was going to mention that, but I didn't want to push
Mhm.
you under the bus again.
Oh.
So, but yeah, in fact, I just did the same thing yesterday as well with a client,
Mm. Oh.
not with the library, but actually using the command buttons, you can create flyouts if you like using
Mm.
a sub
Oh.
hierarchy. So
Oh,
we
that's
had
a nice
a
idea.
just generate document button,
Mhm.
and when you hover over it, it drops down
Mhm.
all the different documents that you
Mm.
could generate. And
Uh-huh.
not only that, some of them were not relevant
Uh-huh.
based on how you filled out the form.
Mm.
So it's actually based on this particular case, some examples had an affidavit that was required and some didn't.
Mhm.
It was a legal
Mm.
scenario. Um, so if that checkbox was checked to say that an affidavit is required, you could
Mm.
generate an affidavit document in Word. If
Mhm.
it wasn't checked, then that document wasn't an option, but yeah,
Uh-huh.
the documents were, and so
Mm.
on.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, you could certainly use it for that type of thing.
Mm. Cool.
And so all of these new features, they need a bit of help sometimes. So
Oh, yes. Yeah, so that's I think another really important new feature of Lightning Forms is that we've added some in context help other than just small tooltips. But there's actually a getting started button now. So when you open the Lightning Forms customization screen, the design canvas, there's a getting started button, and that will pop up a window that has a really nice whole help sort of booklet is how I think of it, because it's got a table of contents. You click on each, the thing that you're interested in learning about, and it'll open up a pane that shows uh, con text and images of whatever that is that you're trying to learn about. You've got subheadings and so on. So it's really easy to navigate that help that lets you see exactly what you need to do next to get started, really. But I would
Yeah.
say that'll be valuable for people who have been using Lightning Forms for a while as well, because maybe there's some part that they didn't know about, some feature, and they can use that getting started to help with that too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to have that in context with the
Hmm.
with the form design experience. You're not having to
Hmm.
reach out to the website and watch a video and things like
Right.
that. But it, like you said, it's enough to get you started.
Hmm.
And it reminds me of like going to some conferences. And I don't know whether you ever do this, but sometimes you go to a conference and you're like, yeah, this is a session I want to know all about,
Hmm.
and so on.
Hmm.
Maybe a new technology that's coming out, or something, or you're unsure, you're curious as to what it is, and you go in there and you're like, within the first 5 minutes, it's like, all right, I got it.
Mm.
I understand what this is about. I don't need
Okay.
to sit through this whole thing because
Mm.
it's now starting to get more detailed, and I don't need to
Mm.
know that detail. I just need
Mm.
to know where to get started, and then I can
Mm.
run with this.
Mm.
And that's what that getting started help
Mm.
is intended for. It's going to point
Mm.
you in the right direction. It's going to explain what that feature is.
Mhm.
Run with it. If you need more help, you can still run out to our website, and
Mhm.
there's additional help there inside the help center, or of course reach out to our team as well. But
Right.
yeah, hopefully it's enough to have that sort of penny drop moment where it's like, yeah,
Mm.
okay, I've got it.
Mm.
I know how to do this feature. So
Right.
that's
And
the intent right there.
and actually, we're revamping our help center as well on our website.
Yes.
So for Lightning Forms, yeah, you'll find if you go there that it's organized a little bit in a more helpful way as a help
Yeah,
center, I
it's
think.
better categorized and
Right. Right.
and so on. So yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely, you should be able to find what you're looking for a lot easier. And that's
Mhm.
not just going to be for Lightning Forms.
Right.
Neither is just the getting started stuff. That's going to start with all of our products. It just so happened that Lightning Forms went first. Yeah, you'll get that in context help and better documentation throughout the whole product range.
Yep.
So
Awesome.
all right, wonderful. And so we're rabbiting on a little bit about forms here, but we are into June, as you mentioned.
Right.
So we are focusing in on teams,
Mhm.
and obviously for the past 15 years now, it's our birthday just last week,
Oh,
where
yes, we should have mentioned that.
yeah, we turned 15 as a company. So
Mm.
yeah, for the past 15 years, we've been building different tools, obviously starting with BDC MetaMan back in the day, and evolving into things like the data viewer, the Lightning Conductor, and things like that
Mm.
as we went on. Um, all have been working for SharePoint, and they also now work for Teams as well, and have done for quite some time, in fact.
Mm.
And a lot of people don't really realize what the capabilities are of our products in Teams. So that's what we're doing as a focus. We're going to do that as the webinar, which is taking place, usual third Thursday of the month. So that'll be recorded if you can't attend it, but if you can, we'd love to have you there so you can ask questions and so on as well.
Mm.
But let's just summarize, what's each product doing in Teams.
Yep.
So Sandy, I'll let
Sure,
you
sure.
chime in.
I will start with Social Squared then. So Social Squared is our discussion forum platform, and that works in either SharePoint or Teams. But I would say that we've seen the most uptake of it within Teams in the past 2 years, oddly enough, with more people using Teams and wanting to have a structured discussion forum. So the main way that you can use Social Squared in Teams is you can add it as a tab in a Teams channel and then have your forums right in that tab. Um, you can also split it up. So I see a lot of people doing that where they might have a given team, but it has a number of different channels, and they want to break up the forum by channel. And so you can easily do that with Social Squared. It's all the same content, and the content itself is living in SharePoint, but you can specify on each Social Squared tab within each channel to show just a subset of that forum content. So it helps people stay more organized with their questions and answers, even more so than having it all in one big forum tab. And the other, I would say, main advantage to have it using Social Squared in Teams is the notifications. So you can have it set up so that when people create posts in Social Squared, it creates a post also in the Posts tab of that channel, so that you'll be able to see at a glance whenever have been new posts, because then, of course, that turns bold over on your left-hand side of Teams. So that's really helpful. And also just the sort of pop-up notifications that there have been new posts. So I think it's a great fit for Teams.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes you mention it to people, especially people that are quite technical in Teams, and they're confused
Mhm.
as to why you'd want a discussion board in Teams. But yeah, it absolutely does have its place because you to me it's a little bit the posts tab is a little bit like going through your Facebook feed
Mhm.
or something like that. It's like, yeah, this is interesting, but some of it is just noise
Mm,
and adverts and things like that.
mm,
And it's difficult to have that conversational thread going on inside the
mhm,
posts tab where
mhm,
somebody might actually ask a question that they really need to know an answer to. And if you've got enough users, that within a few seconds can go off the screen
mm,
and you won't even know it's there. Like if you reply to it, it brings it back down to the bottom again.
mhm.
Um, but if you didn't see it, then it's
Right,
gone.
right, right.
It's just covered up by that noise, and that noise can be all those GIFs and things like that that
Mm.
people are posting. Nothing against GIF, but it's stuff that people are posting in there, and yeah, sure enough, what you posted is gone. And what you
Mhm.
might do is at the end of the day, like scroll through that. But you're a member of a lot of teams, and
Right.
it's unlikely that you might do that in a busy
Yep.
organization. So if you've got something like a center of excellence requirement, or you've
Mhm,
got a technical knowledge base that you want to
mhm,
build up, or something like that, this is something that isn't present just for that day where that, like I say, it goes off the screen.
mhm,
It is there fixed inside of the different forum groups and forums. So yeah, you categorize your conversations for that reason. So if you was running a tech support site, for example, or a tech support team, you can absolutely have every single product you provide tech support for in a tab.
mhm,
So yeah, if I wanted tech support on Excel, for example, I could post my question in Excel. Somebody will reply to me, and that didn't just serve me that day,
mhm,
but it's there for anybody else that is browsing that Excel forum,
mhm,
or searches that Excel forum and so on. They're going to come across that post.
mhm.
So yeah, really valuable add-on
Yep.
to Teams. So I'm going to throw in the Lightning Conductor.
Okay.
I think the Lightning Conductor is a great tool. So this is a started life as a SharePoint roll-up web part.
Mm,
So yeah, you could roll up different lists and libraries to bring your content into one view. But in Microsoft 365, it's a much bigger product than that. You
mhm,
can search content as well as browse real-time content using the object model. You can also build views using the Microsoft Graph, or you can also use Microsoft 365 groups as a mechanism to get to content. So that content could be Planner, it could be Teams itself, it could be OneDrive files, as well as list and
right.
libraries. It could be user profile information, whatever you want it to be. You can build a report on that content. And there's some built-in JSON views, as well as adaptive card views now as well as a different way of viewing that content. So we are spending most of our time now in Teams. Teams is open up all day long, causing everything else to run slowly. No, so it's open up all day long. And people want things to be there because that's where they're working. So they don't want to have to, reach back out to SharePoint, navigate down to a site to get to a
Right.
document in a document library somewhere.
Mm,
So you can bring that information into Teams. You can add the Lightning Connector as a tab. You can display your files there. You can display OneDrive there. You can actually aggregate from across multiple teams if you want to as
mhm,
well. In fact, one of my favorite features is to bring in the events
mhm,
from every single team's channel,
mhm,
from multiple teams in one view, just so I get a good summary of what events are going on without having to sync everything to my personal calendar and
mhm,
so on. So,
mhm.
so yeah, some really useful stuff that you can do with the Lightning Conductor there.
Yep. Yep. Okay, I'll go with Deliver Point then next. So Deliver Point is our permissions management tool, and that as well can be added as a tab in a team, but it can also be added as a personal app on the left rail. And when you use Deliver Point in Teams specifically, then when you open it up, it defaults to a Teams view, which will show you all of your teams in a tree view, all of the teams that you have access to, that is. And you can report on and manage permissions in those teams, so you can see, who has owner rights, who has member rights to the different teams, and then manage that from there. But as well, then you can also see the permissions on SharePoint sites and down to list and library levels, and then from there, permissions on documents. But it's really helpful when you're using it right within Teams, because then you have that same Teams context.
Easy for you to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, and all those challenges that we face in SharePoint are present there in Teams as well.
Uh-huh.
So if you've got somebody that has changed roles or something, you don't have to manually go through the members of every single team in your environment to find out what team
Mhm.
they're a member of. You can
Mhm.
just span multiple teams and report upon that, or remove their
Mhm.
ownership
Mhm.
or membership and so on
Mhm.
too. So
Mhm.
yeah, fantastic. We also have the data viewer as
Mhm.
well. So the data viewer is a great tool for connecting to an Excel document and building a chart, or a grid view of that content inside of a Teams tab. You can go externally from SharePoint as well to, yeah, SQL Azure databases, OData services. You can connect to BCS as well. And that's one of my favorite things to use it for, because BCS hasn't really been modernized. You can still
Mhm.
use BCS to get at data, um, and surface it inside external lists and the BDC web parts and so on, but they are classic. So if you wanted to have a modern experience whilst using BCS, with the ability to view those items and join multiple web parts together and
Mhm.
that sort of thing, you can do all of that with a data viewer, and you can build charts on that content as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, really, really powerful.
Cool. I think that covers it
Yeah,
pretty
so
nicely.
we can also get into Lightning forms as well.
Mm.
So
Oh, yes, that's true.
you could always have that form actually
Mhm.
as a tab as well, so you
Mhm.
can go through and
Mm.
complete that form from within
Mm.
in your team. But it's worthwhile going back to the aggregation for just for a moment,
Mm.
because we have got a new product that's going to be announced later on this month, and yeah, it's known as My Teams.
Mm.
And My Teams is intended to be that aggregation across multiple teams and multiple channels that you don't actually have to go through and configure
Mm.
um, yourself. In fact, I mean, just to get clear on that, you're not configuring it in the same way you would the Lightning Conductor, where you're
Mhm.
manually going through selecting which columns you want to see and what your data
Mm.
source is, and uh, what filters you're going to have. It's much easier than that. That you can go into Teams and you can say, all right, I'll work in sales and marketing, but we have 5 different sales teams or channels, and
Mhm.
we have 10 different marketing teams or channels, maybe some that are for different marketing events and that sort of thing. And these are the two that I'm really, really interested in. I don't want to have to go and visit every single one every day, but I don't want to miss anything from there
Mhm.
either. So yeah, you can just drop on My Teams and you'll have a little radio button for each team that you want to include or exclude from the aggregation. And then it's going to show you the events, it's going to show you the files, it's going to show you conversations and so on, coming from those teams that you wanted to include. And it's a really simple web part. It's not complex at all. The only configuration in it is literally choosing which teams you want to be included and which ones you don't, and that's
Mhm.
it. If you want to do some advanced aggregation, use the Lightning Conductor.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is really powerful for just quickly creating a view of the content from multiple teams and seeing that as a
Nice.
snapshot.
Nice.
So fantastic. Well, that's what we have, and yeah, hopefully throughout this month we'll be able to show you some of these features as well,
Mhm. Mhm.
running in Teams. So,
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
all right.
Great.
Well, thanks a lot, Sandy.
Thank you.
Enjoy being back home for a while, and
Yep.
see you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.